Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. Well, Stephen tWitch boss, best known as the DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show and a contestant on So You Think You Can Dance, has died at the age of 40, found dead by suicide in a Los Angeles motel. So joining us for reflection is a close friend and colleague of tWitch's, leadership coach and professional dancer Kenneth Thomas, as well as the host of the Naughty But Nice podcast, Rob Shooter. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Kenneth, I do want to start with you. It is such a difficult day. You work very close with tWitch. Just share your immediate reaction on this news.
Well, first and foremost, prayers to his wife and his children. The reaction to me, my wife called me downstairs and saw it on, posted on the internet, and I just really couldn't believe it. Honestly, I mean, tWitch was someone who was not only like a friend, but like a brother to a lot of us here in the dance community. And when he walks in the room, everything lights up, everything changes, everything, you just feel his presence, his spirit, everything was just better when he was around. He didn't diminish anybody. He didn't downgrade anybody. It didn't matter what level he had made it to. He still was embedded into the community in every way, shape, or form that you could possibly think of. And to find out this news was truly heartbreaking. And I'm still actually trying to wrap my head around it all, because I really still kind of don't believe it.
Rob, I do want to jump to you. So tWitch has obviously touched many lives, appearing on shows like So You Think You Can Dance. Maybe he's best known for the DJ on Ellen. He is now survived by his wife and 3 children, as Kenneth just mentioned. How has the community been reacting to the news? I've seen tweets from people like Mario Lopez, from Channing Tatum. What are you hearing?
Yeah, everybody is devastated by this. He really was that guy that Hollywood loved. There's a lot of celebrities in Hollywood who pretend to be kind and nice, and maybe behind the scenes we know that that is not the truth. That is not the case here. He was a really, really good guy. I've met him many times backstage at Ellen, at award shows, at events. He's just a good guy. And I think that's why so many people are responding to this, because none of us had a clue. None of us had any idea of the pain that he obviously was in. And so this story has literally rocked Hollywood.
Now, Kenneth, I know you are still processing everything that has happened, but you have told us that tWitch was there for you in your darkest hour when your beautiful son, Christian, was battling cancer. What can you tell us about tWitch and the impact that he left on you and your son, Christian, as well?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for tWitch and our family, like it was one of those moments, one of those times where, we needed a lot of people. And tWitch was one of those people that stood out, that reached out, text me, called me, let me know, pray for me, pray for my family. And it wasn't just donations or anything like that. It was like he truly cared. And he did that for everybody. I'm not just the only one. I think I speak for the entire dance community, where he was always there for everyone. But I'll say this, I think that many times in life we go through so much, on the private specter, that, we don't want to put our burdens on other people for whatever reason that may be. And that for anybody that is going through, anything right now, like, it's okay that you don't have to carry all this weight by yourself. And for me at that time with tWitch, I knew that I didn't have to carry the weight by myself. I knew that I could lean on him. I could lean on others. He was one of the major people that posted, that retweeted, or did anything possible to help our family in any way that he could. And I think that is what you need more of in this world. If anything, he left here was, a legacy of truth and positivity and love and honor and respect. And that is something to truly behold.
It is very clear from what you were saying and what Rob was saying earlier that he just really loved everybody around him, and he was there for support for everybody else. Rob, so sources are saying that he was found dead in a motel room not very far from his Los Angeles home after his wife reported to police that he had left the house without his car. She said that was very abnormal for him. What more can you tell us about this?
Yeah, it's really, really strange details that we're starting to uncover. We spoke to people who worked at the hotel. They said he checked in the night before with just a small bag. It looked like he had walked there, or maybe he got an Uber. He did not have a car with him. And in LA, that's very, very unusual. He checked in and was not seemingly to be under any distress. And then the next morning, he was discovered by housekeeping. Nobody heard a gunshot. And so people at that property, at that motel, are really shocked by this too. And so lots more of this story yet to come out.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting as, yeah, the details do continue to come out. Kenneth, you know, we've been showing this entire time just all of the dance videos, how happy he seemed. I mean, just days before his death, he posted on social media videos of him dancing and smiling with his wife. He had just celebrated his 9-year wedding anniversary with his wife earlier this week. I mean, you're seeing somebody who just seems so happy. I mean, what does that teach us about mental health and how struggling is just, it's not always shown on your face and on the surface?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are many dancers out there right now that are struggling. There are many dancers and people all over the world that are struggling, and they tend to hide behind their craft, hide behind their art, because that's how they cope. That's how they get through it. I know me for myself when I was going through some of my own battles, or even with my son dancing in the hospital. Dancing was one of the things that, you know, gave us that release. But sometimes, you know, the art is not enough. Sometimes the craft is not enough. Sometimes the talent is not enough. Sometimes we have to sit down and say, hey, I need help. Hey, I have to be vulnerable right now. And I want to say this, that, you know, many men out there right now, that they feel that they can't be vulnerable because we deem vulnerability as a weakness or something like that for some reason. And I don't even know where that came from. But the fact is that you don't have to not say anything at all. The worst thing that you could do is suffer in silence. That's the worst thing that you can do. We can in a lot of times we come out and we use our craft to help other people cope, but even though we are the ones that need the help as well too. And sometimes through our dance and whatever art it is, it's a cry out for help in some way, shape, or form, just without, because you don't have the words to say it, because you don't want people to look at you as weak, or as someone who just needs to, hey, just get over it, or anything in that nature. So I think that what we must do in this time is we need to really not just check in with people, but we need to stay in. And a lot of times we sit there and we just check in and say, hey, are you okay? No, but you need to really just stay in with
Right.
people, not just check in and check out, because oftentimes that person may need you to stay there, you know, in their life full time, not just part of the time.
Absolutely. Kenneth Thomas, Rob Shooter, thank you so much for coming on this morning. It's a very difficult day. Really appreciate your insight.
Good to see you.
Thank you.